Greetings, fellow book lovers, and welcome back to Colin's Corner. Before we get into the video today, I'm going to go over the last Colony with Colin segment answer. In that segment, I asked you guys the joke. What are windmills' favorite genre of music? The answer? They're big metal fans. Alrighty, so a few weeks ago, I posted on my community tab, on my YouTube channel, and on my Twitter, asking you guys the question, if you could recommend one self-pub book to somebody that is new to self-pub, what would it be? I was very grateful to get a ton of answers from everybody, so thank you for participating in that. So what we're going to do in this video is go over those. But before we get into that, I want to just give you guys a little overview on what I plan on doing for self-pub on the channel. So Colin's Corner is going to be participating in what I am calling Self-Pub September. So this can be self or indie pub, but what I'm going to do is in the month of September, I'm only going to read self-published or indie published books in order to give these awesome books and these awesome authors some more recognition and to experience them, because I have not read very many self-pub books. Now, the only caveat to this will be read-alongs that I am already a part of when it comes to September. But other than that, it is only self or indie pub for me in September. So I thought this would be a really fun way to kind of help promote these guys and to experience some of these awesome books that I see so many people talking about. So, without anything further, let's get into this list. You guys are going to have to bear with me. In this one, I have a ton of notes pulled up on my computer here, so I will be glancing over here throughout basically the entirety of this video. So here we go. The first recommendation is coming from Joanna from the channel Joanna Reads, and she actually thoughtfully recommended multiple books, but I chose one that seemed the most interesting to me, and that is going to be The Sword of Coggin by M.L. Wong. So in this one, we are following the Matsuda family that lives on a peninsula that has been defended by formidable warriors for generations. Warriors that allegedly have superhuman capabilities, such as being able to raise the sea and wield blades of ice. Okay, yeah, I'm in. The peninsula is under threat from a foreign invader, and in the Sword of Coggin, we find out, I'm assuming, if the peninsula can successfully defend itself. So this is also a standalone, which is a huge plus for me. I don't read a lot of standalones. I'm in the middle of a lot of series right now. So that's appealing, and thank you so much for the awesome recommendation, Joanna. I do already own this one on Kindle, so a little bit ahead of the game there. Number 2, we have a recommendation from Chris from the channel A Fictional Escapist, and he is recommending The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae. This is book 1 in McRae's Dragon Spirits series and was a finalist in the 7th SPFBO. This is one that I've not heard of before. So we follow a character named Fen in this one, as he apparently wakes up in the middle of a forest with no memories. It is set in the world of Tassar, and there is an ancient enemy that is beginning to rise to power again. McRae also has an interesting take on dragons, where they are essentially spirits that have the ability to provide blessings and curses upon people. McRae's self-described style of character-driven epic adventures certainly sounds like something that would be right up my alley, something that I have been super interested in recently. So this one I don't own yet, but I will need to get my hands on a copy of this. So thank you so much, Chris, for the recommendation. Next up for number 3, we have a recommendation coming from 2 of my really good BookTube friends, and that is going to be Theo over at the Rekindled Reader and Christopher Navo from the channel The Next Chapter. They both recommend Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. So this is the first book in Hayes' The Mortal Techniques series. However, they are self-contained and could be read as standalones according to Goodreads. So this has feudal Japan and samurai kind of vibes, which is completely new to me. An 8-year-old boy, Ian, is tasked by the god of death to kill the emperor of the 10 kings. In order to bind people to his cause, Ian must kill them. There are gods, monstrous spirits, and Hayes apparently has created an amazingly compelling and large cast of characters. Lots of channels that I really enjoy and have been watching for a long time love this book and this, I guess, series. And the other really appealing thing about this one is that it is not very long. It clocks in at only 331 pages. So for those of us that, read epic fantasy a lot, that is very short. So I surely should be able to squeeze this one in, and it sounds really exciting. So thank you both Christopher and Theo for this awesome recommendation. Next up, we have a recommendation from another good friend on BookTube. This is Ben over from Books with Bengus Khan, and he recommends The Severing Sun by Vaughn Roycroft. Now, this is book 1 in Roycroft's The Sundered Nation trilogy. In this one, we are following a couple of POV characters named Valdan and Elan. This one has been compared a lot to John Gwyn's The Faithful and the Fallen, which I have not read, but I did want to mention that in case you guys have read that. It may be even more of a reason for you to want to pick this one up. So The Severing Sun employs some classic fantasy tropes such as prophecies and The Chosen One. The Severing Sun is said to be very fast-paced as well. So I've heard from many people that Roycroft has crafted some very compelling and nuanced characters to follow, and lovers of historical fiction and classic epic fantasy could be a really good audience for this one. So Vaughn actually reached out to me and sent me a copy, very kindly sent me a copy of his book and an awesome, really, really thoughtful handwritten note. So I wanted to say thank you. Here it is right here. Thank you so much, Vaughn, for this. There we go. Look how awesome this cover is. Let me get out of the way. There we go. Look how awesome that is. So thank you so much, Vaughn, for sending this. I also just want to mention that Vaughn did not ask for anything in return for this. He did not ask for a review. He just sent me this out of the kindness of his heart. So thank you so much, Vaughn. And he seems like such a really nice guy in my interactions with him. So I'm really excited to get to this. And thank you, Ben, for the recommendation. Next up, we have a recommendation coming from Patrick from the channel Patrick Ryan Book Reviews. And he recommends The Legend of Blackjack by A.R. Witham. For this one, I'm just going to read a little snippet from the Goodreads description because this one has me sold. They say he was an outsider, a man with no home, no family, no friends to call his own. The man with nothing left to love, the empty man. They say he talked to animals. They say he traveled between worlds. They say he killed a god, and they may be right. He prowled the border between light and dark. He beat the devil himself with a walking stick. He healed 1,000 people in a single day and killed a dragon the same midnight. They say there was a woman. They say he died for her. No one knows the truth. Those are the legends about him. If you want to know the truth, I will tell you. Okay, that just sounds freaking awesome. That sounds crazy. I'm in. I want to know more about this guy. So thank you so much, Patrick, for this awesome recommendation. I'm really excited about this one. Next up, for number 6, we have a recommendation coming from one of my subscribers. His name is Matt Vallejo. Hopefully I am pronouncing your last name correctly. I assume I am pronouncing your first name correctly, Matt. He recommends The Emberblade by Chris Wooding. And this is book 1 in Wooding's The Darkwater Legacy series. In this one, we follow a boy named Aaron who has always lived life by the rules, and when his father is executed for treason and Aaron gets thrown into a prison mine, his world is completely changed. Aaron's homeland is under occupation, and there is a revolution brewing that he finds himself thrown into. The key to the revolution's success lies in acquiring the Emberblade, which is essentially the Excalibur of his people. And to acquire it, they need to break into an impenetrable vault in the most heavily guarded fortress in the land. Sounds easy, right? This one is designed to be a return to classic fantasy with a modern feel, which is something that I definitely seem to have been enjoying lately. Um, I have also really always been super drawn to this cover. I think this cover looks really, really cool. I don't own this one yet. I definitely need to get my hands on this one. So thank you, Matt, for the recommendation. All right, for number 7, we've got a recommendation from another good friend on BookTube, and that is Dan from the Black and Blue Collar Reader channel. And Dan says, anything by Michael R. Fletcher. So I did a little bit of poking around, a little bit of research on the interwebs, and I decided on Blackstone Heart. This is book 1 in Fletcher's Obsidian Path series. I'm going to also just read the Goodreads description for this one. A broken man, Crane, awakens alone and lost. His stone heart has been shattered, littered across the world. With each piece, he regains some small shard of the man he once was. He follows the trail, fragment by fragment, remembering his terrible past. There was a woman. There was a sword. There was an end to sorrow. Crane walks the obsidian path. This sounds extremely interesting. I love the premise of gaining memory back by just finding small fragments of his heart. I think that that is a really, really cool premise for a story. And I've also heard that there are amazing illustrations in the physical copy of this book by Stas Boridan. I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they are supposed to be really, really beautiful, and so I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on a physical copy of this one. And so thank you so much, Dan, for recommending Michael R. Fletcher. I'm excited, really, really excited to try this one. This one sounds super cool. For number 8, we have a recommendation from Taylor from the channel Made Between the Pages, and she recommends Legacy of the Brightwash by Crystal Matar. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. And this is book 1 in Matar's Tainted Dominion series and was the runner-up in SPF B07. In this one, we are following a regulation officer named Tashwe, and he has always believed that the law was in place for a reason, and to follow it means to stay safe. But what if the law is wrong? The authority condemns his son to something called the Rift, capital R, for not complying and registering himself as tainted. And seeing his son withering in prison is the jarring incident that begins Tashwe's questioning what he always believed in. I really like the premise and the theme of exploring those in power or those in charge of the law being corrupt. And, you know, what do you do if you're somebody that's always believed in that but is now seeing it, you know, negatively affecting you and your family? So I think that's a super cool theme to be exploring. And Taylor actually said that this made her top 5 reads last year, which is some very high praise. So I'm excited to get to this one. I don't own this one. I need to get my hands on a copy of this one. But thank you so much, Taylor, for the recommendation. All right, guys, I've only got 2 more left. These are not coming from recommendations. These are just ones that I want to get to. So for number 9, we have Bringer of Light by Frank W. Janis. This one sounds really interesting and is covering essentially 3 different storylines and timelines that will somehow converge. One of them, we are following a British reporter during American Civil War times who has to deal with a sea monster attacking his ship and then getting stranded and left on a strange, uncharted island. Another storyline we are following, a teacher in 1930s Germany who agrees to homeschool the gifted son of a wealthy landowner as tensions begin rising towards World War II. And the last storyline we follow is the founder of a Silicon Valley software company who is dealing with a partner who seems to be hiding a very dark secret. So somehow Janis has managed to combine all 3 of these storylines, which sounds crazy. I'm very interested to see how he's able to do that. And he also sent me a copy of his book. Another, just go on, focus. It's not going to do it. Come on, come on. Maybe. Anyways, another beautiful cover. Another beautiful cover Frank seems like such a nice guy as well from my interactions with him. So thank you, Frank, for this. I'm excited to get to this one as well. And for number 10, guys, we have A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is book 1 in Abdallah's Ashes of Avran series. This is a book that I truly have been meaning to get to for a long while, long before I even started a channel. This book is described as a sprawling, epic fantasy series where religion and politics are one, griffin riders roam the skies, and a looming blight threatens to tear everything down. Guys, this sounds freaking cool. I don't think I've ever read a book with griffins in it, let alone people riding them. There's a ton of channels that I've been following for a long time that really love this book, and I've been able to actually see Thiago Abdallah in some live discussions. He hangs out in some reading sprints every once in a while. So he really sounds like, he seems like a really nice guy. And the covers of I do own this one on Kindle, but I'm going to buy a physical copy of this one because the cover of this book is awesome. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you're interested in joining me for Self-Pub September, like I said, I just thought it would be a really fun way to get some more self-pub under my belt and, you know, become part of the community of people that have been just talking about so many of these awesome books. So let me know down in the comments if you think it might be something that you want to hop on board for. Now, it's time for Comedy with Colin. Today's joke, guys, is going to be, what do you call a factory that makes okay products? If you think you know the answer, drop it down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Maybe more people will see it that way, and we can get some more people to join us for this. If you're enjoying the content on the channel, please do consider subscribing. And I hope you guys are all enjoying what you're currently reading. And remember, you're always welcome in Colin's Corner.